The secret history's not-so-secret connection to Breaking Bad. That and a lot more coming up. The Secret History is a novel by Donna Tartt, published in 1993 concerning Greek students at a private New England college called Hampton College, heavily based by Donna Tartt's own alma mater, Bennington College. Interesting fact, she and Bret Easton Ellis actually went to Bennington together, and this book is in fact dedicated to Bret Easton Ellis. Right, but to the story. The novel is structured like a Greek tragedy. Think plays like Agamemnon or Oedipus Rex. In fact, Donna Tartt herself said that the play The Bacchae was the basis for this novel. The Greek department only consists of 6 students and their teacher, and as a result, obviously, it's pretty cloistered. It's also important to note that in Greek storytelling and Greek tragedies, oftentimes the play would start in media res, which means in the middle of things. Likewise, in this book, we start with a prologue that's 10 years in the future and is telling things that will happen 200 pages into the book, and we are to then go read and see how exactly these things progress. For a while, the story is propelled by the simple mechanic of fish out of water. Richard, our narrator, is a middle-class California kid that transfers into Hampton College primarily to study Greek. After a little trouble, he finally gets accepted into the very exclusive program. The other 5 students are all rich, privileged East Coasters who enjoy expensive trips to Europe, vacationing in their families' mansions, pricey restaurant visits, and, of course, drinking freely throughout the day. The 5 students are as follows. There's Henry, who's kind of the leader and also the intellectual premier of the group. There's Bunny, who we are actually told in the prologue is the one that ends up dead. There's the twins, Charles and Camilla. No, I don't think those names are a coincidence. And then there's Francis. The group is not just interested in Greek as a matter of study, but as a matter of practice of living. In the spring semester, Henry comes to Richard with a problem. The other 5 have been going through this ongoing kind of Dionysian ritual in which they've been ingesting all manner of drink and hallucinogens. 2 problems arise. 1, Bunny doesn't seem to be taking it seriously and is subsequently sort of kicked out or just ignored and avoided when the other 4 want to go out and take trips to these aforementioned mansions in the countryside. 2, once Bunny is kicked out, the group ends up killing a farmer up in the countryside. This is where the similarities to Breaking Bad come in. Primarily, the story is about a descent into evil, or more accurately, how one deals with oneself once they have committed an evil act. And this is at least as old as Macbeth. In Macbeth, the murder of Duncan happens very early on, and in fact much of the drama is actually about the actions that are consequential to that action, rather than the actions leading up to that event. That is to say, it's much more about what happens to Macbeth psychologically and politically. In fact, if you'll remember in the early scenes, Lady Macbeth actually seems like the more villainous of the 2 characters. In here I want to submit to you that evil is not so much a thing as it is a result to the circumstances and people around us. As the old saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Think of what Walter White wants to do. He wants to secure his family's financial future, and he does this either by crimes of self-defense, self-preservation, or preemptive measures. In fact, I found myself, like I expect a lot of viewers found themselves, kind of defending Walter White at many intervals. Obviously, Francis, Henry, Charles, and Camilla are interested in their own self-preservation, and when one of their own tries to undermine this, preemptive decisions have to be made. The novel also borrows a lot from Dostoevsky. It's heavily psychological in that the characters' physical health is actually affected by their guilt and secrecy. As well, there's also a question of basic tenets of morality, especially when there's a conspiracy to murder involved. And while the book is a rehashing of old and retold things, I think its appeal is the same appeal as in Breaking Bad. We can kind of empathize with the supposedly evil acts that people do. If things go bad, it is very alluring to try and get away with it, especially when the secret to success seems to be simply keeping a secret. The Secret History reminded me that evil is a much more human emotion that's charged more by desperation than actual maliciousness. I also think it's interesting and probably worth pointing out that if this book about a bunch of rich college kids committing an accidental murder was written today, it'd probably actually be like a satirical take on affluenza. As it is, this novel is more about a human ambiguity and, given a certain set of circumstances, how that ambiguity changes into something we identify as human evil. The Secret History can kind of be thought of as the college novel as the heart of darkness. The innocent protagonist is lured in by the unknown and excited by the foreign strangeness, only to slowly discover what Colonel Kurtz so eloquently and famously called the horror. The horror. Thanks for checking out this book review. Let me know if you've read the book. If you have any further thoughts, go ahead and use the comments. As well, let me know if there are any books that you are interested in me reviewing or possibly checking out, and maybe I'll make a review on it. Until next time, whenever that is.